welcome to Tell Me Your Story, New Paradigms for a New World. I'm Richard Dugan. It is a Wednesday. It's just past 9 o'clock, and we are here with LUMARI and her book that we are going to be featuring for the coming weeks, and it is Streams of Consciousness. And we're looking forward to talking with her. I want to remind you that we are here on Sundays at 7 a.m. and 7 p.m., Monday mornings at 1 a.m., streaming live at those times at richarddugan.com. We have a podcast. It's on SoundCloud, iTunes, TuneIn Radio, Spotify, Stitcher, Player FM, Blueberry, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music, many other locations. We're also on YouTube where you can watch these conversations. We hope that you'll subscribe and then click notification so that when a new conversation is posted, you'll know about it and you'll be able to tune into it. We also ask that if you can support the work that we are doing financially, we would be so gratefully appreciative. That would, I thank you for those who have helped and those who will help. And again, the PayPal account, you want to use the email address richard@richarddugan.com in order to send what it is you're going to send. And also take time and spend time in that quiet, peaceful, calm, still place during this decade of perfect vision and listening to that still, small voice. And today's guest is, of course, returning to our microphones and so forth, our phone lines and what have you, LUMARI. She's here talking about her book, The Streams of Consciousness, and we are certainly grateful for her giving us the time that she has. This particular book is very interesting, Streams of Consciousness. Discover the 12 hidden frequencies of creation. Activate your higher calling and uplift our world. And it is available, of course, through Amazon. You can also go through her website, lumari.com. LUMARI, it's great to have you back again here on the program.
Oh, Richard, I'm so happy to be here. Thank you.
Let's talk about the second stream of consciousness that we're going to talk about. And these are not in any particular order, folks. And this one we're going to focus on is the stream of honor. Talk to us, give us a preliminary on that.
Well, the stream of honor, so each of the individual streams of consciousness, they vibrate to and resonate to particular, what I would call qualities, right? So honor and giving honor and being honorable and receiving. It's a quality. It's a way of understanding and receiving and recognizing. That's how honor unfolds in our world. So when you connect with any one of the streams, then you get to experience and resonate with the quality therein. And so the stream of honor resonates with honor. Honoring yourself, honoring the divine, honoring our planet. It's honor is bigger than we can perceive.
Mm-hmm.
It's an amazing frequency and connection with people where you can have a direct experience and recognition in the broadest sense, recognizing and experiencing the divine in all ways. That is an energy of honor. But also looking at it as like recognition, appreciation, respect for people, places, things, life, the universe. When you resonate with honor, it brings an immediate experience of the preciousness of all beings.
Mm. Now, we tend to talk about in our society here, primarily in the West, about, there's that wonderful song going back probably 40, 50, 60 years or more, Respect, RSE, whatever. And what's the difference between those? Is it semantics or is there a legitimate difference between honor and respect?
Well, I would say honor is the biggest space.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? So if we're talking about vibration, we're talking about the energy of things. Honor is a really big space. It is granting and perceiving and sharing a huge recognition. And it goes in small ways and it goes in big ways. So in religions, right, and in the testaments and lots of different ones, I'm not naming any particular one, they always say, thou shalt honor. It is a way of recognizing to a high degree of the otherness or the whatever you're looking at honoring. So there's a difference between honoring your beloved and respecting them. Now, honor holds respect in it, and appreciation and recognition and understanding and connection, all of those things. It holds all of those. And because it does, it's even bigger than any one of them. Like you can recognize the magnitude, the preciousness of that person.
Yeah.
And honor that. And you're able to honor who they are, honor what they do, and in a way that isn't judgmental, because you're recognizing that, whether it's a person, the divine, the forest, the land. And so it's huge. And it also, if we could honor 50% more people than we normally do. Can you imagine what that would look like in the world? Like you're really looking at people. I'm not saying you have to build monuments to them. That's not what this is about.
Right.
But it's like if you recognize them in that moment, they feel seen and appreciated for their life and who they are. Most people on the planet don't get that. That is not how they're treated.
Interesting. Do you think that people have the concept of honor a little skewed, specifically in the West, because they think that they are honoring this person by putting up a statue or some kind of monument or naming a street or a building or a mountain or putting their likeness up on, like Mount Rushmore and so forth.
Right.
We call that honor, but again, as you've already stated, that's not honor. That's, so to speak, sort of a pseudo. I had the word in my head, but anyway, talk to us about that.
Well, if I switch it around, I'm going to give two different examples. So the first example I'm going to give is people who serve in the armed services. And they are really in that arena. And so my disclaimer is I'm not in support of war or killing people or blah, 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 any of that political stuff. That's not what I'm talking about. But generally speaking, there was created a code of honor between all of them. And because they do honor that, they connect with each other, they fight for each other, they save each other because of that honoring each being in it and honoring the work they do. And, of course, they are given badges of honor for participating. So that's one way of looking at it where you can see that respect. That is like respect, like big-time respect.
Yeah.
Like, put your life on the line for me, dear. I honor who you are.
Yeah.
No matter what we talk about the other political stuff, I'm just using it as a frequency example. And then you look at it, and you look at it in a spiritual way, where you are in your spiritual community, whatever that is, whatever kind of building, whatever kind of text you read, and you are honoring the divine. And you are not subjugating yourself, but in such appreciation, gratitude, recognition, that you see that shining towards you, and you have that honor for that divine. And also because of that, you start to learn how to honor yourself, because we are all part of this creation frequency.
Mm. So, again, keeping politics out of this, because that's not where we go with this particular program. Do you think that we show due honor to those who have made the choice, for whatever reason, to serve? Do we show them? Is it enough to just say thank you for your service? Is that really honoring?
Well, let's just say it might be okay for them, because a lot of people that I've known who have been in the service don't like a lot of back patting.
Mm-hmm.
Like they don't want the parade for them, right? Because they are in service of. But I think "thank you for your service" was a really good line that somebody used. But to me, it doesn't feel strong. It doesn't feel connected. It almost, and this is me, right, in this vibration, it almost feels, "Thank you, have a nice day. Next, thank you." It doesn't feel like, I so appreciate who you are and what you've done to help us because of how you see this to be, right? Again, I'm not talking about that I want us to do these horrible things on the planet. I don't. I want us to have a whole other way of being, which when you start to participate in the streams of consciousness and those frequencies there, it shifts you to a higher level of being. So that then when you look at that honor, you're from a different place. You can honor, I know this sounds crazy, but I have a good sense of humor. You can honor the squirrel in your backyard. You can honor the streams that come through the melting snow and wash down, the mountains and feed whatever they feed and however far they go. You actually have that sense of honor for that. And it's a whole other way of looking. It's not just appreciation, "Oh, isn't that cool?" It is, you look at it like it really is a gift. Yeah. And you honor that gift.
Yeah. And I understand that. I did an interview some years ago with a gentleman who produced a film. The film was actually one word: welcome. The feature of the program, or of the film, had to do with this program, this intensive that veterans would go through to help them work through their issues with PTSD.
Right. Yep.
And in the context of the interview, I asked him, I says, so do you think that those who have served need to find a way to better acclimate into civilian life and understand how that works again? And he said no, which took me aback for a moment.
Yeah.
He says what has to happen is that civilians have to acclimate to the military mindset so they understand. And that made perfect sense to me. There are cultures, you can track through history, various tribes around the world, various communities, where their soldiers, and it's predominantly the men, would go off to battle. Win or lose, those who returned were honored. Sure. They were given the due. Win or lose, that's the way. And I thought, wow. And I even asked the question of this gentleman. I said, well, how long has this been going on that we haven't really been treating our soldiers properly? We haven't. It's like the government asks them to go serve, and then when they come back, who are you? Go away.
Yep.
And he says, well, the sad fact is, as far as this country, the United States of America, is concerned, under the Constitution, it's been going on since the Revolutionary War.
Well, and the thing with the energies of honor is, and I understand what you're saying, and this is a great example that we can expand.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? What we're talking about in this moment is we have no clue what's gone on with these people.
Mm-hmm.
We have no clue because we haven't been there. All right, let's expand it. We have no clue about most of the people on this planet.
That is true.
So if we're looking at, another country, we have no clue how they are received. All right? So we know in a lot of countries women do not have the same rights as men. Well, that shows a lack of honor. We know some areas that, the certain people have to work day and night just to put food on the table. Well, that they're not being honored. There's other people who have been really fortunate to be able to receive a lot and be able to make contributions in the world. And what are the ways that we can honor them and they can honor us? See, the whole thing goes through everything.
Mm-hmm.
We can look at it and say environmental health, right,
Mm-hmm.
as opposed to all the different ways they describe it. Environmental health is honoring our planet.
Mm.
Not taking something from one part of the planet, putting it somewhere else, depleting the well-being in one area to feed the well-being in another area. No, there's other ways. This planet is really smart.
Mm-hmm.
She knows what she's doing. Come on, how many of us could have come up with, let's put some dirt and have things grow out of it?
Yeah.
Oh, and by the way, there are volcanoes underneath, but don't worry about it. I'll make sure there's enough space so that the roots of the trees don't burn.
Yeah, I hear you.
So honoring our beautiful planet is being able to, of course we want to eat. And of course we want to honor the planet by not doing, all the negative pesticide stuff we can talk about, but don't want to in this moment. But if we're looking at honoring it, so we could actually come to a place where we honor what the food growers have done to this point, and then help them honor the planet to find other ways to produce the food that doesn't have destruction.
Mm-hmm.
So that we're not finger pointing and blaming, we're honoring how much work they did.
Yeah. And finger pointing and blaming does not solve the problem. It doesn't help.
No.
And
no,
yet,
and if you look at some of the industries that we can actually say are pretty, toxic. They might not have been toxic back in the day. Maybe they were. I don't know. I'm not studying that history. But they've allowed an awful lot of people to grow their business, to heat their home, to travel, all of those things. So instead of yelling and blaming, if we are in the space of the stream of honor, we can honor what they have contributed, what they have figured out, how that has helped many, many people, and then bring the frequencies of honor in that industry to a higher level. Okay, now that you know these different ways of doing it, how can we do it without depleting? How can we do it without toxic gas? How can we do it and honor the planet and honor the work you've done and bring it into the light in a new way? And, these people who have done these things, whatever the other stuff we can talk, they're smart.
Mm-hmm.
They figured stuff out.
Yeah.
And they can figure out new things. Just like, we can look at it and go, okay, some of us were around before computers were actually real.
Right.
Some of us were around when computers were like, whoa, old school. Right?
Mm-hmm.
And then but we can look at it and say, I like a print book. I like to hold the book in my hand. When I write my books, I think of a print book. Now, other people, okay, how many books can you have in Kindle or any of the other online book reading? Well, guess what? You can have 100,000 books that you can read, and you have no storage. You do not have to have a bookshelf. You're honoring the planet and honoring the words of the author.
Mm-hmm.
A completely new way of looking at things. But the honor of what is present is life-changing. I mean, just think about it. If you look at, just pick any part of society or any part of our life, Richard.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So as an example, you get to pick one.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I get to pick one. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, without being overly redundant, I'd even go to the point of saying, honoring our relationships.
Okay. So now, let's just use the primary relationship, you and your parents, because that came before you and your beloved.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Each parent has a different reality because their parents had a different reality.
Yeah.
And depending on where you were and what happened, and male, female, and color, and all those other things, right?
Mm-hmm.
So they could have had a fabulous life. They could have had a horrible life. They could have had lives with love, people who loved them even though their lifestyle was crappy. Or they could have had a great lifestyle and horrible parents, right? And then all of this is coming to you as the child and how you relate to them, honoring them. And we're not talking about people who are abusive, okay? Because I'm just going to skip that whole conversation because that has healing involved in that one. But if they were uncommunicative, or they didn't pay enough attention, or they paid so much attention you really didn't even think you could chew without them watching you.
Yeah.
It's like, honor how they're being. And honor yourself in that noticing. And all of a sudden there's a whole other thing. And what is really interesting, because in my book, not only do I talk about this, but I obviously have frequencies of honor that you can connect with. You can connect with the stream of honor so you actually can feel how it resonates, how you feel within it. But when you really honor people, they're moved. They are moved.
Yeah.
And it's not like you don't have to, and most people don't want you to, bow down in front of them and thank them for 20 minutes. And like most people are not comfortable with that. But when you're saying, I really appreciate this. I honor you for what you've done in my life, what you've done for other people. They feel that truth within them, the resonance of that honor, and it moves them. For some people, it moves to tears because they actually see that you get what they have been through, what they've created, what they've tried to share and bring forward, and what's important to them. That's rare.
Mm-hmm.
It's not anything we're really taught to do.
Yeah. It's an interesting, and I would probably be accurate in using this word, paradox, because not all of us are, so to speak, cut out for. We don't get that calling, as some people refer to it, to serve in that capacity. And there are many, many ways that each one of us can serve. I'm curious, there is one way in which some folks will honor people who have served. And again, we're going to go back to the military element. And that is that when, let's say this person...
Did I lose you?
No, I'm still here.
Okay, good. Okay,
when people are out eating, for example, and they come across someone who has served, has been in the military.
Mm-hmm.
And I've heard this done many, many times. They will pay for that person's and or maybe even their family's meal
Mm-hmm.
as a way of do you see that as a way of honoring them as well?
Sure. Well, but we can have so many different ways to
Yeah.
honor people.
Okay.
Really and truly. Yes, that's a great example. Now, I'm very fortunate to have had really good parents. Okay, I'm one of those, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, me too.
Really
you
good.
And me both.
My parents were really good. And my parents were crazy community oriented, like crazy. Every nonprofit, every group that needed to come together to raise money to do this, they were involved in the whole community of it, in the arts community and in the local communities, right? I was knocking on doors getting dimes. When I was really young, my mother gave me the can and said, "Okay, tell them what the charity is and ask them to donate." Right? I mean, that's kind of like what I grew up with.
Right.
They started nonprofits for organizations and art and stuff like that, and music and all that stuff. So I'm coming from that place. So there's plenty of ways that you can honor that aren't always going up to somebody and saying thank you. Now, if you want to do one-on-one honoring, if you're really in the space of honor, all you need to do is look at somebody and say, thank you, I really appreciate what you've done.
Mm-hmm.
And if you say it with that truth and that energy of honor, they will get that you mean it.
I know there is one perspective, among many, of course, but one in particular where the observation is that these individuals, again, you wanting to honor their commitment, their accepting their calling, as it were, and especially those who have been wounded and even killed, they did it for nothing because we're still fighting. And until the fighting stops, every person who has ever sacrificed has, in essence, sacrificed for nothing because we can't seem to learn the lessons of history.
Well, let's not bring that one up.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. That's
because
fine.
That's a hard one.
Yeah.
But honoring the people who had the courage and dedication to declare that they feel these things aren't right and they will fight for the right.
Gotcha. Yeah, makes sense.
That is powerful.
Mm-hmm.
That is powerful. The political climate, all of that other stuff, that's a whole other thing because part of that relies on each person's evolution, transformation, awakening, to be able to see this is the rhetoric and this is the divine energy that we're in.
Mm-hmm.
And we can tap dance between them because we need to. Obviously, paying taxes is not a spiritual action.
Mm-hmm.
And yet, if you don't, other people may never eat because they need that help.
Right.
A whole bunch of other things can happen. But when you're talking about the energy of honor, you can honor people for who they are and what kind of commitment they have made.
Right, right.
Now, we don't also have to agree with it because you can honor people who do not believe the same things you do. You can honor people who worship in different ways that you think actually detract from how you practice your spirituality.
Mm-hmm.
Or different ways of being. All of these different things that we're trying to uplift right now. We are trying to transform those way old school stuff that is trying to get its way back in.
Right.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, okay, these are laws that were 5,000 years old, and you're trying to reinstate them, and it's not what we want anymore.
Yeah, yeah.
Sorry, I don't want to have, 5 other wives with me and my husband. No, don't want to do that.
Yeah. No, I hear you. I hear you.
All of those things. So when we're looking at honor, we can actually go beyond the polarities, the contrast, those things, and really recognize people for things that are honorable. Because guess what? If that person had 10 kids because they don't believe in some of the other things that are available in modern age, you can honor them for being a great parent for all those kids and taking care of them and feeding them. You may not make the same choices, but you can honor their path.
Right.
And their being.
Yeah.
And you can also honor the people who said, sorry, no kids for me.
Yeah. I get that. I do.
I mean, we're bouncing in all different conversations here, and I think that's good because we want to think about them in honor in different ways.
Yeah.
This is a very high frequency. If you stood in a room of 100 people that you didn't know, and you looked at each person as a soul being here on this planet, no matter how old they are, no matter what they look like, etc., and you looked at them and you just said, I honor you for the life you are living. Thank you for being on this planet now.
Yeah. One of the steps, too, that would be wonderful for each one of us who might utter that phrase that you just did is to, and I think this is part of, if I'm not mistaken, part of the raising of one's consciousness, is recognizing in that person you are speaking these words to, honoring the contribution they have made to your life. And that you are the way you are because they have been in your life, that they have contributed something.
Yeah.
And it may have been fleeting. And that's something that a lot of folks, they think that it's got to be. I mean, my best friend, for example, I for 53 years, I am so grateful that we had a life together, that he was in my life and I was in his.
Yep.
But it could be 53 years. It could be 53 seconds.
We connect with so many different people. So we talked about people in the service. Well, what about the teachers? Teachers change your life.
Yes.
Every single one of them change your life. And the ones who challenge you and the ones who support you, but they're in that room picking up whatever they're picking up to show you how to do it. Whatever that it is.
Yeah.
I mean, I had a geometry teacher who looked at me in a certain way because I could visualize geometry. The math, but I could visualize it so I could get my answers.
Right.
And he looked at me and he said, you could be a geometry teacher. And I'm like, you're kidding, right? And he goes, no, because you see it in a different way. And there's some students who would really need to see it your way, and that it would help them understand geometry because I understand it with math.
Right.
I understood it visually. Like I could do the math because I could separate the sections.
Right. Because you see it the way you see it.
Exactly. And that was like, first I was stunned because I'm a creative. So that's stunning to me.
Yeah.
But the other was like, it got me to see how I was looking at things. And he actually appreciated me. And he didn't appreciate me because I was an A student.
Right.
He appreciated me because how I could see things.
Right.
So, he taught me that. Also, obviously, he taught me geometry.
Sure.
But he taught me that. It's like, oh.
Yeah.
Interesting. So we can look at all the people around us and see there are different contributions that you don't even know that they make.
We are talking with LUMARI. She's the author of Streams of Consciousness. We're dealing with this stream of honor, which is a resonating relationship of divine blessing, light, and frequency that allows and creates a direct experience and recognition of the divine in all things. It reveals and creates a clear experience of divine connection and opens the high vibrations of divine recognition, respect, honor, and mutual appreciation. We are going to continue here, but I want to let you folks know that you can receive a free gift from Lumari, personal sacred space meditation, which helps you feel clear and whole, connected to your deeper self, and in touch with your own energy, vision, and purpose. Streams of Consciousness, the book we are featuring here on this 9 a.m. Wednesday edition of Tell Me Your Story. Discover the 12 hidden frequencies of creation, activate your higher calling, and uplift our world. And remember and align with the frequencies of consciousness. Connect with the divine and your deeper purpose to live as the visionary you're here to be. Raise your vibrations as you read and become empowered to awaken your soul path, nurture your purpose, and generate evolution and enlightenment. And there are other books that Lumari has written. Alawashka, it's the original language and vibrational source of creation experience. You can experience the true resonance of creation. You can feel the awakening. You can feel the awakening energy and profound spiritual openness from Alawashka. Engage the Light of Awakening is another book, and it's a revolution and transformation. I believe that's actually revelation and transformation. You can imagine what your everyday could look like if you were living inspired. And also Collective Keeper of Divine Expression by Lumari. Her book offers clear insights from the collective keepers. And we can find out more about that, and you can find out more about that if you get a copy of her book, Streams of Consciousness, or go to her website, lumari.com. That's Lumari, and that's Lumari, lumari.com. We're talking on this particular program about the stream of honor, and I'm just curious, as we, of course, as always, there's never enough time on this program, and we are in the last, 5, 7, 8, 9 minutes, whatever. I'm curious as to, even though I probably have already shared, what are maybe 1, 2, or the top 3 benefits to the individual who chooses to begin that process of honoring the people around them that sometimes you're just walking past and maybe just saying good morning, good afternoon, good evening to, as well as those who they're in your life. Maybe you're in a relationship, maybe you work with them, et cetera, or family members, and that kind of thing. So what are the benefits to the individual? And then expand on that. What are the benefits to our communities?
Beautiful. Thank you for asking such a great question, Richard. And first, I'm going to say, everybody read this book, because you'll get way more out of it. And you'll be able to tune into the frequencies there that will give you like a richness that Richard and I are experiencing in this conversation. So, in the benefits for that other person, right, the person that you are honoring, this actually shakes up limitations in their life, meaning disperses them, not just shakes them, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Because when you feel recognized, everybody listening right now, if somebody came over to you and really looked you in the eye, honestly, truthfully, lovingly, and honoring you for what you've done, either for them or for our community or the family or something that you don't even remember that you did, you have a body and spiritual shift. You are uplifted, you are opened, you are receiving the benefits of that, and it's allowing you to be more of yourself. Everybody, you've had somebody who said to you, when we were at X, Y, and Z, you did this to me and it blew me away. You may not even remember the incident, but it changed their life.
Yeah.
We've had tons of people say that to us in a variety of different ways. Right?
Right.
From your kindergarten all the way to adulthood, you've done something for somebody that was just you doing something, and all of a sudden, it changed them completely. And honoring that person for what they have done allows them to honor you for what you're saying. So if we're looking at personal, you can sit there and tell your parents with real truth how much you appreciate and honor what they've done. Because being a parent is not an easy gig.
No, it's not.
And so you don't even know half the sacrifices they have done. You don't even know what they wanted and what they created. You don't know all the inside, because most of us don't share all of that because it would take too long to say it. But if you can look your parent in the eye and say, I have to tell you how much I honor and appreciate everything you've done for me, and don't say, no, it's okay, because I won't listen to that part. You have to listen to me.
Yeah.
Let me say this to you. And you saying it, you get to be in that space of honor by honoring them, and your frequency changes.
Yeah.
And when you're honoring them, they are releasing and being part of their own being and being that bigger part of themselves, and their frequency changes. And yes, of course, there's lots of benefits of more love and more connection and more sensitivity towards each other and a deeper relationship. But then when the both of you go out in the world, you've already shifted.
Yeah.
And you can look at other people the same way. And you can look at the person who's the cashier who said, wait, you didn't get credit for that coupon. Hold on, let me do it again. And you can really look at them and not go, thank you very much, but really look at them and go, wow, thank you for taking the time for doing that to me. You don't have to say, I honor you, because some people will be uncomfortable with that word.
Right.
But if we're doing that, or I would love to say when we're doing that in the world, we're shifting the frequencies, because a lot of people who are not honored have issues because they're not honored, because they feel invisible, because they don't feel appreciated for who they are.
Right. Well, Lumari, I want to honor you for the time you give us, the information that you share with us, which, of course, you have gotten through the divine, if you will. And we will be back with you again next week to look at one of the other streams of consciousness from your book, Streams of Consciousness. And thank you so much for being with us here.
Oh, thank you, Richard, and thank you, everyone. And we are sending you the blessings of honor right now.
And I thank all of you for listening to and watching Tell Me Your Story, New Paradigms for a New World, where we are giving you choices and knowledge of those choices to help make your dreams come true. We are here on Sundays at 7 a.m. and 7 p.m., Monday mornings at 1 a.m., streaming live at those times at richarddugan.com. We have a podcast. It's on SoundCloud, iTunes, TuneIn Radio, Spotify, Stitcher, Player FM, Blueberry, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music, many other locations. We're also on YouTube, where you can watch these conversations. We hope that you'll subscribe and then click notification so that when a new conversation is posted, you'll know about it and you'll be able to tune into it. We also ask that if you can support the work that we are doing financially, we would be so gratefully appreciative. That would, I thank you for those who have helped and those who will help. And again, the PayPal account, you want to use the email address richard@richarddugan.com in order to send what it is you're going to send. And also take time and spend time in that quiet, peaceful, calm, still place during this decade of perfect vision and listening to that still, small voice. And until our next broadcast, podcast, videocast, love to Lal. Jeanette, I am still listening. Dad, continue to be happy. Smokey, I'll see you on the other side. And to my dear friend Zorro, aho, aho.